we're going to bring on Coach Josh Gerber, the head football coach from Norwell High School. Coach, thanks for waiting on us there. I appreciate you jumping on here tonight, and maybe you got to hear a little bit about that. We were talking about the game last year where East Noble came down to you, and they were kind of the hunted at that point. You were the hunter, and you guys really bottled them up that night and really, defensively was just shut them down. I mean, they really didn't have much that night, and then your offense, of course, did what it needed to do for a big win last year, and now you're flipping on the switch now, and now you're going up there to be the hunted, so to speak, as being the guys that are riding the first pony in the in the conference race. So, how's it feel being that other side of the coin?
It's a little bit different, but it's something that we've wanted and worked for a long time. And I think it's a challenge that the kids have really embraced and enjoyed. And when we talk to them every week about, you're going to get everybody's best shot. There's not, there's not anybody who doesn't see you as the team to beat. And you've got to be ready for that. And we know that Coach Amstutz and his staff will have those guys ready to go. There'll be a loud and rowdy crowd up there, and we've got the long bus rides. So, we've got some challenges ahead of us. There'll be, like I said, there'll be a good, well-coached team. They'll be physical, athletic. They'll execute their schemes really well. So we've got to be ready to go.
They got a pretty dynamic quarterback up there in the Brazil kid.
Yeah.
He can do a little bit of everything. What is your take on him going into this week and looking at their offense?
Well, I mean, first off, we've got to be able to stop the run. They run the ball pretty effectively. Their guards are athletic. They like to pull them. Quarterback's a good athlete as well, and he can run it, which makes defending a little bit trickier when you got a guy that doesn't just sit back there and hand it off or throw it. When he's a threat to run it, we've got to be a little bit more on the game with that. But all in all, we've got to go out and do our thing. They're going to execute their stuff well. We've got to execute our things well, and we'll just see how things fall.
Sure. Coach, you have really put it on in the last couple of years. This team has really turned a corner down in Aussie. And just talk about the growth of this team the last 3-4 years, turning this program into a team that in 2016 had 0 wins when you first came in to where they are now, 10 wins a season in back-to-back years, playing for sectional titles, playing for conference titles, and really kind of the talk of the town, one of the talks of the town in Northeast Indiana football. Just talk about the success you've seen so far with the program and where you see it going forward.
It has been quite the process. You think back to that first year, we weren't very good at all. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of hard work from a lot of people. I think about the seniors in that first group and what they were able to do, and didn't win any games, but they laid a foundation for work ethic and for what was going to be expected in terms of how we practice, how we play, how we conduct ourselves on the field and in the classroom and in the community. And they laid a great foundation for us to move forward on and to build on. It hasn't been easy. I think about the guys who have stuck with me as assistant coaches, the support we've gotten from our school administration. I think about, even the support of like the parents. And, every Thursday night they've got a meal ready for the kids. And every Friday after road games, they're taking care of us. And there's pregame meals and all the stuff that they do to support us. There's a lot that goes into this. And then you just can't overlook the hard work that the kids in the program have put in. We don't have strength built into the day. Our kids come in the morning, in our off season, we're starting lifting at 6:15 a.m. And I'm sure after basketball game on Tuesday night, there's that bed would be a lot more enjoyable than the weight room on a Wednesday at 6:15 a.m. But our kids show up. They're committed to getting better, committed to working hard and doing the things that we ask them to do.
Was there a certain point in time where you saw from a little bit of distance, maybe through the youth program or something like that, where this group was going to be something special that could really set that foundation for Norwell football for years to come?
Yeah, you could see that. I mean, even when they were in our 5th and 6th Pee Wee League, you could see these guys, just how hard they played, the athleticism they had. And then as they come up to middle school and in their freshman, sophomore, and junior years, just to see them. One of my favorite things about this group of kids is the camaraderie that they have. They're friends on the field and off the field as well, and they're just a bunch of neat kids. They're great kids. They're a smart bunch. The college coaches will come in and ask about GPAs, and we can rattle off a bunch of them with high GPAs that they can look at and they can recruit. But great bunch of kids to be around. Really, you can't compliment them enough. They're just great kids, good football players too, which is really nice for us.
What looking at some of your players right now, who are the guys that, in your mind are the ones that you've counted on and you knew that were going to be there, but maybe they've gone a step higher than you expected? Who are some of those kids that that we're going to see this Friday night play against East Noble?
Yeah, we got Brody Bolin and Luke Graff,
Right.
and those guys get a ton of attention. John Colbert's been a little bit dinged up this season. He's starting to turn the corner and get healthy for us. It'll be nice to get him back to 100%. Hopefully, we can get him soon. Get him back to playing at 100%. A kid like Kyle Zettis, he's a mauler as a right tackle for us, and he's a kid that outside of our program, not a lot of people know.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden Billiard, our left guard, is another one of those kids. And I don't think Leighton Bailey gets enough credit for his quarterback play. We don't ask him to throw it a lot, but I mean, he can when we need to, and I think he does a pretty good job with it. Klein Neuenschwander is another one of those unsung heroes, a starting defensive back and wide receiver. Aiden Rusu, he's a linebacker for us. He doesn't play a lot of offense, but man, he's a high energy guy that brings it, real disciplined in what he does. And just tons of these kids. I could probably go on and on and on. Then I'd feel bad because I left one of them out. But a lot of those kids that we've got some headline guys. Like Trey Bowman, kid who's like been awesome for us all year as a defensive end, as an H back.
Right. Well, when you're having a year that you've had, and even the years of last couple of years, it always kind of seems that the guys that rise to the occasion, besides the ones that, the superstars, so to speak, like you talked about Borland and, Graft and that, but these guys are the ones that step up week in, week out and give you that ability to be, that team that's right now 5-0. It's not, it's not one guy per se. It's a bunch of guys, it's the guy that's the role player, the guy that maybe not gets, only maybe 10 to 15 snaps a game, but those 10 or 15 snaps that he's in are his best. And
Yeah.
that's the type of kids that make a year special, is those type of guys. So I saw a lot of that a year ago, especially from your younger guys, that really stood out. And, it was one of those things, you went back through some of the statistics and like, wow, that kid really had a really good game. And maybe not the guy that you would thought who was going to have the great game, but there was another guy that stepped up. So how about in the special teams area? How has that been going for you this year? Any team that's 5-0, special teams has to be a part of that success.
Yeah, they've been great for us. Cale Grish is our special teams coordinator. He kicked at St. Francis in those runs where they didn't win any national championships, but they got to them. Cale does a great job. It's so nice not to have to worry about those. And I can remember years before we had a guy like Cale that each coach maybe had one or two special teams, and it was a little bit hodgepodge and disjointed. But Cale does a great job having a vision for all of it. We've got a guy like Cale Mallard, he's kind of the kids will tease him that he's our special teams captain, but he really is. And Cale's embraced that role. We've got a great kicker in Austin De Leon who can put the ball through the end zone on the kickoff, and it's wonderful to have your opponent starting with the ball to 20 versus the 35 or 40 on a bad kick. So, and just to have the depth of guys that we can run some really quality athletes out there on special teams and not have to use up and not make some of our other guys, just we can get them a little bit of a break. It's really kind of nice.
Sure. Coach, the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, just the defense. I mean, Let's talk about that. I mean, what pride? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of pride into it, but, what is it like this defense that really, 13 shutouts in the last 27 games? for you guys. What is that like on practice leading into a game, as far as just kind of that battle within the game to hold those teams down, to hold the few points as possible? You guys are statistically one of the best defenses in the state. I mean, what is it about your defense as a whole, as a unit, that has really made you guys so successful?
Well, the goal is to be the best in the state. We want to hang our hat on our defense. Coach Matt Taylor does an awesome job as our defensive coordinator. He's always got the guys prepared. His in-game adjustments are awesome. We play an aggressive attacking style. It fits our kids well, and our kids love it. And they love I'd like to think that we're a defensive school, and I love that our kids have embraced that. It's a really neat thing. A lot of people want the touchdowns, the name of the paper, and all the things that offense can do. But if we're going to be successful in a tournament, if we're ever going to win a conference championship, it's the defense that's going to do that for us. So we're going to hang our hat there. We're going to continue to work. It's hard to coach against those guys in practice. And I told Matt today I wouldn't want a game plan against our defense. We're pretty solid. So yeah, it's fun to watch them. I'm glad that they're ours and not somebody else's.
Very good.
Looking at this one thing here, we're looking at East Noble again here. What are some things on offense that concern you? Things on defense that maybe think you're going to get some possible trouble with on Friday night?
Yeah, offensively they can hit the ball, they can get the ball downfield in the passing game. They're also able to run it, and when teams can do both, that makes them a little bit harder to defend. A one-dimensional team is much easier to defend than one that can do a little bit of everything. And then defensively, they're stout up front. They've got some guys that can play. Their linebackers are really pretty good, and a lot of people, like when we're watching film, we can tell a lot of linebackers don't read guards. So there's some stuff that we can do with backfield action to influence them. Their kids are going to read guards, and we're not going to be able to trick them with some of the stuff that maybe we get some other people with. But technically they're sound. You watch them. The defensive line, they work their hands. The offensive line, they know how to block. They know what their scheme is. They know how to get where they're supposed to be. They're just a well-coached team. Those are good teams. It makes for good football, and we're going to be better because we play teams like this. And we're going to have a good week of practice to be ready to go, and hopefully we can play well Friday night and come away with the victory.
Well, certainly, Coach, and we appreciate you coming on, and obviously it's another big week for you guys in the conference race, and being one of the top defenses in the state, and really a great team in our area. And certainly that will be our lead game next Friday night, this coming Friday, as we head to East Noble for Norwell versus East Noble as our 1380 game of the week, 6 p.m. Our pregame show, kickoff at 7, and of course postgame show at the Kindleville Pizza Hut. And Coach, it's got to be exciting atmosphere too for games like this, to have great crowds, two teams that have the same mascot, but two great communities really too. We were at Norwell last year for this game. This year it's at Kindleville, and really it's a great atmosphere for two outside of Fort Wayne communities to have great teams and great fan bases as well.
Yeah, it's always fun to go up there. It's a great football community, and they have a great environment. Their athletic director Nick David, I think, and Coach Amstutz too. I'm sure they work together to create that game day environment. It's fun to play there. I tell the kids all the time that big games are a lot of fun, and sometimes I tell them I didn't get playing enough as a high school athlete, so I'm a little bit jealous of them. And this would be one of those times. It'd be fun to be back in high school and be able to go play, just to be able to experience that atmosphere and that environment again. Our kids are lucky to be able to play in games like this, and we appreciate the opportunity.
And you guys have some great facilities as well, not to sleep on the courtyard. I mean, talk about that aspect just a little bit, about the fan support since you've arrived and this team has kind of arrived and gotten better over the years. Just the fan support on Friday nights and the administration and just how things are looking down there from an athletic department standpoint for Norwell High School.
You know what? We're really fortunate. Our athletic director, Kelly Wainwright, does a great job making sure that we have all the equipment we need, and then our facilities are top notch. I don't think you're going to find a guy that's better at hosting an event than Kelby is. He rolls out the red carpet to make sure that things are done well, and our fans have been awesome. I think the two home games we've had, we hadn't been a lot of room in the bleachers, and I think they've been stacked 2 and 3 deep along the fences in places. So we're really excited about that. It's fun to run out of that tunnel, hear the air horn blow, and our kids love it, and hopefully we can continue to have some big crowds. And it's just like I said, it's to have the great facilities. It's nice, and hopefully we can just continue to give people a reason to come out and watch us.
Excellent. Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us tonight on the Upon Further Review podcast. It's going to be a big one up at Kindleville this Friday night, and we're looking forward to being there with the pregame show and then the game, and then, of course, the postgame show, and just a great opportunity to branch out a little bit and show some NE8 football and really show some quality teams that we have in some of the other counties outside of Fort Wayne. And we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for joining us this week, and I'm sure we'll talk to you down the road.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you guys for what you do to support high school football in our area. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next Friday night.
We'll be there. Thanks a lot, Coach Gerber. Well, you can tell that he's, I mean, I think you hit it on the head when you brought up what he's done in the period of time that he's been there. And it has not been a quick fix type of thing. I mean, there were some years that things weren't going well, and I think he was, fighting to get the kids out, and then he got the kids out and they bought in, and now that they've bought in, now they're having great success.